Did Pedro really cheat on Chantel? After what seems like a lifetime of emotional hurt, Chantel has finally confronted Pedro about his alleged affair, and as Chantel and Pedro's relationship continues to break down before our very eyes, you guys are never going to believe the real truth behind Pedro's supposed affair. Chantel and Pedro have officially called it quits since we now know he finally filed for divorce. And, as we're watching it play out on TV, it's really not all that shocking. They both can't seem to stand each other any longer with each new argument, and they both reveal more secrets about their relationship. And in a recent episode of The Family Chantel finally confronted Pedro about his alleged affair. And although Pedro tried to deny it, the odds were firmly stacked against him, starting with Chantel pointing out the fact that he came home from work with another woman's name strapped to his keys, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that expected it, but Pedro claimed that the only reason he came home with another woman's name strapped to his keys was because of a game he played back at the office with one of his co-workers, Antonella, but Chantel obviously didn't believe him, and she also didn't back down. She still went ahead to accuse him of cheating because he came home at 3 a.m. without his car, and at first this might not seem like much of an accusation, but the real issue Chantel had with him coming home at 3 a.m. was because she didn't know who brought him back home. And then the next day his car magically appeared in their driveway, and she didn't know who brought it back, and Pedro didn't really have an answer for the second accusation, which might be a hint that Chantel might actually be right and he was cheating on her. But unfortunately right now, no one really has any concrete proof of Pedro's affair. But if this is actually the case, then I have to say Pedro's actions are totally messed up, because when the issue of his mother's affair came out, he completely broke down, and the thought of him actually cheating on Chantel just doesn't make sense. I mean, he had this intense conversation with Chantel and her mother about everything that was going on with his family back in the Dominican Republic, and he seemed really heartbroken because of the fact that his father had an affair with his mom and then left him and his sister while they were growing up be with his other family. And then just hearing his half-brothers say that their father was there for them just made the entire situation worse. And even after Chantel continuously tried to apologize to him for not being a good listener, he totally went off yelling that he was a mistake. And now, a couple months later, after all that happened, it seemed like Pedro is making the exact same mistake that his father made. And this is probably why Chantel compared him to his father, and according to her, Pedro is behaving just like his father because he's treating her poorly, which is the exact same way his father treated his mother. And she also said that Pedro keeps disrespecting her, which is something that his father did also. In her words, Pedro, his father was all about disrespecting women, and it seems like Chantel has finally come to the sad realization that she cannot change Pedro no matter what she does. And this is why she told him that there's nothing she can do to change the way he feels about her, and she even accused him of not loving or liking her anymore. And the craziest part about everything was that when she said this, he didn't even say anything. And I don't know about you guys, but I think that Pedro's silence was a confirmation to the fact that he may have already lost all his feelings for Chantel, and I don't think anyone can say that they didn't expect this at all. And with the way their marriage has been spiraling recently, I don't think that there's anything that can surprise anyone right now. And now that we know that he filed for divorce, it seems like Chantel and Pedro are officially done for good. But what do you guys think about Pedro's alleged affair? My quick 2 cents is it's sad. I thought this was honestly scripted. I thought Chantel and Pedro were perfectly happy and in love behind closed doors, but they filed for divorce. They both filed restraining orders against each other. Clearly, there's real issues that are off camera. So it's like, I don't know, guys. I think something honestly happened. And when you go through a traumatic situation like Pedro did with discovering everything with his mom and his biological dad, it's by no means an excuse, and I feel for Chantel, but sometimes you lash out in ways you don't mean to. So maybe he did have an affair, and it's horrible and horrific. And I actually feel really bad for Chantel. And the way he was acting with his coworkers is by no means appropriate. So either way, I am really kind of feeling for Chantel in this situation. I don't usually say that, but I do feel for her. I think she is trying, and she tried, and I think Pedro was just out of it, and he wasn't really giving the relationship a shot. But that is just my thoughts. Guys, I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, do me a huge favor, hit that like, follow, share, subscribe button, and y'all, you guys better stay tuned for many more videos.